All right, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Overall, I thought this was a good pay-per-view. I thought the Chamber match was great. You know, it was a lot of fun and very predictable, but it definitely got you looking forward to WrestleMania. So I will say that. One thing you notice about these brand-only pay-per-views that actually have the Elimination Chamber in the main event, you're jamming so much talent into the Chamber match that the undercards have been somewhat nightmarish in the past. If you guys remember the New Year's Revolution 2005 Chamber match, that's when Triple H won his 10th World Championship. That had an awful undercard, just a very probably the worst undercard I think that WWE's ever put on was that New Year's Revolution 2005 pay-per-view. But yeah, so I want to try to speed up this undercard. I don't want to spend too much time on it. We actually had 3 women's matches on the show, so there we go. So yeah, Becky Lynch and Mickie James to start off the show. I haven't seen Mickie James in a while. She's been away, I believe, since 2010. There was somewhat of a disconnection with her. I thought the match was somewhat slow, sort of a poor choice for an opener, just a lot of rest holds. I really didn't think the match picked up till the finishing sequence. Finishing sequence was quite good, so Becky goes over Mickie. I just thought it was interesting how Mickie James is on the same roster once again with AJ Styles and John Cena, 2 guys that she's had relationships with in the past. So maybe this will make for a bumpy ride backstage, but we'll see what happens. Next up, we have Kalisto and Apollo Crews in a handicap match against the new heel, Dolph Ziggler. So I don't know what they've been doing with Ziggler is kind of weird. He just had some really good matches with The Miz, and now he's a heel again. So Kalisto kind of got taken out. So you had Apollo and Dolph kind of going at it one-on-one. And, you know, the interesting thing about these 2 guys is I never really noticed this until the match is both guys have names that are inspired by Rocky or Sylvester Stallone movies. You know, Apollo Crews, you know, Apollo Creed, and then you got Terry Crews from The Expendables. So you combine that and you got Apollo Crews. And then Dolph Ziggler, you know, Dolph Lundgren actually played Ivan Drago. And then I guess you took the Mark Wahlberg name from Boogie Nights, Dirk Diggler, and then you have Dolph Ziggler. So 2 guys that were inspired by, names were inspired by Sly movies or Sylvester Stallone movies. So that was pretty, I think that's pretty cool when you think about it. But I'll tell you what, man, Apollo Crews just seemed like he got a lot of heat out there, man. He got sort of a poor reaction at the Rumble, and it just didn't seem like the fans were behind him. So I'm not really sure what the problem is. I have to check out SmackDown to fully evaluate exactly what's going on here. But yeah, I just thought this was you know, handicap matches suck, and I just didn't care for this match, especially the ending with Kalisto coming out. I don't know. I just thought it was a corny match. Next up, you have the tag team turmoil match, which took up a lot of time. I'm not really that impressed with this tag division. I think it's very average. This whole match just felt like filler to me. But America Alpha did go over. I thought they looked good. The match was pretty much dominated at the beginning by Heath, Slater, and Rhyno. Eventually, they got upset by the Usos. The Usos are kind of changing their look. They're trying to be more street thugs, street-oriented. But I'll tell you what, though, the one thing that had me thinking was down the road, I would love to see an all-Samoan stable with Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and maybe even down the road, years from now, you know, maybe The Rock could be like a wild card in that whole situation, or maybe he could return as a babyface, and maybe the Samoan stable will be the evil heels. So that's just something to think about down the road. But yeah, American Alpha goes over. They take out the Ascension to win the match. Average tag team turmoil match. I've seen tag team turmoils a lot better than this. To me, the golden standard for tag team turmoil matches is the Benoit and Jericho one from Judgment Day 2001, if you guys haven't seen that yet. So next up, yeah, Nikki Bella taking on Natalia. And look, oh, man, very good video package here. I was very surprised at how deep they went here. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to write a storyline like this, but, you know, Natalia's actually attacking Nikki for getting too much, you know, too much given to her because of her looks. She actually took a shot at her and said, eventually looks are going to fade and then John Cena's going to leave you. So it got really personal. And, you know, they touched on the whole Total Divas thing. And I thought they had a good match here. I actually thought out of the 3 women's matches, this had the best match. They had the best match of the night. I thought the transitions to some of the submissions at the end were very nicely done. And yeah, I mean, this really sets, if you think about it, this is the match that sets up the intergender tag match at WrestleMania. Looking at this, you would think maybe they'll go with Cena and Nikki Bella taking on Bret Hart and Natalia. But, I don't see Bret getting into the ring at this stage. But, this definitely kind of left the door open up for that. I'd love to see some promos between Bret and Cena. But I'll tell you, man, imagine how good Bret and Cena would have been if Bret was still in his prime, if they had like a match in Montreal. That would be insane. But probably not going to happen. You probably get the other intergender tag match with The Miz at WrestleMania. So here we go. So you have Randy Orton taking on Luke Harper of the Wyatt family. Beginning of this match was slow as shit. Orton was kind of... he was doing a thing where he was really slowing it down, playing up to the crowd. Very, very methodical at the beginning. But as the match progressed, Luke got more offense in. And eventually the crowd, they worked at such a slow pace that whenever you saw Luke get some offense in, the crowd was reacting quite well. And then eventually, boom, you started hearing "This is awesome" chants just for simple but solid, hard-hitting, generic offense. And ended up being a good match, man. Orton hit the RKO out of nowhere. They were able to have a good match without killing themselves, and Orton kind of puts Luke Harper out of the way on his road to WrestleMania, and definitely the highlight of the undercard. A lot better than I expected. Just definitely they turned the tables, and it ended up being just a really solid match with Orton looking strong, heading into WrestleMania. So next up you had Naomi and Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss won the championship at TLC, defeated Becky Lynch in the tables match, which was surprisingly just a really good match right there at TLC. So Alexa Bliss drops the belt to Naomi right before WrestleMania. I was happy for Naomi. She deserves it. The crowd was chanting, "You deserve it, you deserve it." So yeah, she definitely put a lot of work in, and definitely happy for her. Match was short and sweet, and it was quite good. The ending featured Naomi doing the John Morrison-like split-legged moonsault, and we have a new champion there. So next, move on to the main event. You had the Elimination Chamber match. John Cena is the champion. AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, The Miz, Dean Ambrose, and Baron Corbin in the Elimination Chamber. The winner of this match most likely is going to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania 33. So we start off with AJ and Cena. AJ and Cena worked great in the match. They continued their awesome chemistry. They really carried the bulk of the match, and then Ambrose was the first one to come out of the pod. So you had some great back and forth action with AJ, Cena, and Ambrose. Just creative sequences featuring a double German suplex. There was a spot in the match where Ambrose hit the lariat, which just looked awesome. Eventually, Bray Wyatt came in next. And then, if you notice something about this chamber, it was different. It was structured more like the Hell in a Cell. Maybe that's why the guy on commentary kept calling it a Hell in a Cell throughout the whole night. And then Bradshaw kept getting mad at him. He's like, "This is the Elimination Chamber." But yeah, it was a different structure. You would think, like, why did it take them 15 years to kind of alter the structure? Because if you remember the first chamber match, Van Dam, RVD had a tough time, doing the frog splash. There just wasn't a lot of room in between the top of the pod and the top of the chamber. They pretty much changed the structure of it. There was just a lot more breathing room to do high spots. And you would think AJ would have done some more creative things off the chamber with the new structure, but it really wasn't the case. AJ probably took the biggest bump. Bray actually gave him a belly-to-belly, not a choke slam, but a belly-to-belly by the neck off the top turnbuckle. That was probably the biggest bump of the match. When Baron Corbin came in there, he got eliminated first, but he did look dominant. It looks like they're headed towards a Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose match heading into WrestleMania. The Miz came in last, and he was doing a lot of Daniel Bryan stuff. It kind of leads you to think maybe they'll go with Daniel Bryan and The Miz someday at WrestleMania. I don't like seeing it because I know Bryan's not going to wrestle, at least for a while. The brain eventually does heal, and maybe Bryan could change his style, but I just don't see Daniel Bryan and The Miz happening at this WrestleMania, even though it seems like they tease it on every pay-per-view. So yeah, man, and then you just had AJ and Cena just working their magic. You know, you saw Cena kick out of the Styles Clash. You know, you could argue that they've been burying the Styles Clash. You know, everyone from Jericho to Roman to Cena has been kicking out of the Styles Clash, but you know, AJ kicked out of the Attitude Adjustment, just made for some more great near falls. Surprisingly, Cena actually took the biggest bump. He actually did a crossbody off the top of the chamber. It came out all right. You know, Bray actually put Cena away with the Sister Abigail, and then crowd was kind of shocked. I don't know why they were shocked. You know, I think everyone that follows the internet should have known that Bray was probably going to win this match. But then it came down to Bray and AJ. You know, the ending sequence between Bray and AJ, it was good. I was really hoping that AJ would take it, and you get Randy Orton and AJ Styles at WrestleMania, which I think is a very attractive WrestleMania type match. But we did not get that. The one thing that kind of hurt the match for me was, you know, when AJ went for the second springboard 450, I was just like, you know, you just know Bray is going to counter this. Just like Jericho did at WrestleMania with the Codebreaker, and that's exactly what happened. Bray countered the second 450 into the Sister Abigail to put AJ away. So Bray Wyatt wins. Randy Orton comes out, gives Bray Wyatt the death stare. But I'm happy for Bray though. You know, my biggest problem with Bray Wyatt has been the promos. There's been so many times where Bray cuts these, you know, backstage segments or promos in the ring where you just kind of lose focus and stop paying attention to him. You know, he's a different breed. His in-ring skills are different. He's not a bad wrestler at all. The guy has proven against Daniel Bryan and Cena that he could deliver great matches. Now with this Randy Orton thing, the WWE has 2 months to put together a great storyline. You know, this has storyline written all over it. You know, I really think the WWE is in desperate need of delivering something very, very engaging storyline wise, and you definitely have potential there with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. Am I looking forward to the match? No, not really. I mean, this is the time. I think, you know, it's possible that they might go on first at WrestleMania. That might be the smart thing to do, considering, you know, they had just wrestled at No Mercy last year, and I thought the match that had No Mercy was the worst pay-per-view main event of the year for 2016. So why would you put the worst main event of 2016 in the main event of WrestleMania? These guys have a lot of work to do. They really need to make the storyline engaging to get people to care about this, because WrestleMania crowds, very tough to please. You know, sometimes they'll just automatically shit on things. It's a bunch of smart marks usually. So, but you know, I'm rooting for both guys. Let's give them a chance. Randy Orton's trying to, you know, resurrect his career here. They're trying to, you know, get Orton back where he used to be. The guy in commentary, once again, I think he was wrong. He said that this is Randy Orton's 3rd time headlining WrestleMania. It's his 3rd time being in the main event, if it does main event, which I do not think it's going to main event. I think Goldberg and Brock is going to go on last for the title, the more I think about it. But this will be Randy Orton's 5th time headlining WrestleMania, if you count 25 and 30. But you'd also have to count the triple threat from 22 and the triple threat match from 24. So this is Randy Orton's 5th time headlining a match at WrestleMania for with the championship on the line, to be accurate. So you know, overall, guys, I thought this was a great chamber match. Average undercard. Undercard wasn't bad. I've seen undercards a lot worse than this for these brand-only elimination chamber pay-per-views. Randy Orton and Luke Harper was a good match, and the chamber match was great. Definitely worth checking out. Awesome stuff. AJ and Cena look great in that match, and so did Bray. You know, they really made Bray earn it tonight. You know, it wasn't like he came out last. He definitely earned the title victory. So that's pretty much it, guys. It looks like Goldberg is going to win the championship at Fastlane from Kevin Owens, which, you know, kind of sucks, but you know, things could be worse. I didn't expect Kevin Owens to get that long of a title reign, but we'll definitely see what happens. Let me know what you guys thought of the chamber match, and see you guys later. All right, take care.